today to see this SE presentation. This slot on a Monday morning is a little bit tricky. We're all waking up. The first presentation we had today was about technology and the responsible use of technology. So videotaping, totally great. Checking your text messages, not so great. Okay, so make sure that you're making good decisions about how to use technology in the room and that your phone is on silent so that if someone does call you, it doesn't interrupt the presentation. I also want to encourage everyone in the room, whether you're a senior or a faculty member or someone who's come to visit who's a junior or a sophomore, to participate in the question and answer session. It's a really important part of the SE presentation. And then I just want to say before this presentation starts that this is one of the most interesting topics that any student has chosen. I felt like it was a really, like when Faye told me what his topic was going to be, I was really fascinated by that. I think it's partly because I'm new to this place and learning a lot about it, and I thought it was a thoughtful topic that everyone can learn from. So I encourage that kind of creative thinking and for people to pursue their personal passions and ideals in the SE. Thank you.
Okay, now imagine a place where in one side of the street you may see a quaint colonial home. In the other side of the street you might see a booming nightclub with tens of kids queuing it outside, hoping their parents' money will last the whole night. And on the other final side of the street, you see a 5-story building built in the 1960s with its lower side filled up with a colmado pumping Pachatu at max volume. That is what the Colonial Zone right now is all about. Hi, my name is Federico Castro. The topic of my research, so I focus my research on the future of the Colonial Zone, and the name of my presentation is a new vocal rebuilding Santo Domingo's Colonial Zone. My presentation is divided into 3 important parts: an introduction to the Colonial Zone, followed by an interview. I would like to introduce a parallel with Parvana, which also boasts an incredible research in its Colonial Zone. And then finally, I would like to use Parvana as a guideline for Santo Domingo's Colonial Zone. Okay, to start off with the history of Santo Domingo. And Dominican folklore states that Miguel Diaz, who was an outsider in Columbus's crew, wandered across the newly discovered Hispaniola and came up with Rio Jaime, which is here. In there, he met a beautiful Indian lady. He was obsessed with the Indian lady and also became obsessed with gold. The Indian lady showed him where he could find gold, which is up Rio Jaime, on the west side of Santo Domingo. He then went up back to Puerto Plata, where Columbus and his crew were gathered, and then he spoke with her and convinced him to come south to Santo Domingo. They first started in here, in the east side of Rio Sama. There they found a beautiful bay that would protect their boats. But after a catastrophic hurricane in 1503, Bartolome de Colon decided to move from the city westward. Following historical guidelines, he said that the city should be built under shadow. And so that's why Nicolás partnered with Bartolome de Colon, decided to move the city from the east bank of the Rio Sama to the west bank. And that's when the Colonial City truly started. Right? Now I want to go back, going to go forward to our time now. The problems in Santo Domingo's Colonial Zone is the juxtaposition in the area, be it in the housing styles, in which we can see 1920 style paired with the colonial style homes, and the socioeconomic status of the people inside of it. On one side of the street, as I told you before, you would see the great moving nightclub, in which all, you might say, like the rich kids of Santo Domingo go and gather, and at the other side, you might see the colmado booming with a booming bachata. I also want to explain the inadequate public works inside this colonial zone, which include parkings and light poles. I chose these 2 pictures to demonstrate the juxtaposition you see in the colonial zone. This one was taken just out of, just entering the colonial zone through the Puerto de la Misericordia, and this one is just off Casa Bastias. This, I believe, truly demonstrates the great juxtaposition there is in the colonial zone. As you see in the left picture, you see the destroyed, almost abandoned housing. Right on the right side, you see the beautiful and the beautiful and the truly true goal there is for Central Minnesota. So I also want to focus on the public works, the light poles. Overground light poles take from the aesthetic beauty and the idea of the Colonial Zone. When you see a light pole, you think of 1920s, 1930s aesthetic, not of the colonial housing you are seeing. I also want to highlight the problems with parking. Santana, which is a newspaper writer for OI, say the real number of parking spaces in the Colonial Zone is of 842, of which about 421 spaces are dedicated for residential and private use, which only leaves 421 spaces for visitors in the area. For a city that hosts 4,000 to 6,000 tourists a month, this is not enough parking spaces. Now I want to start with Carlos Cartagena. Isabel Aguilar, which is a renowned writer in Colombia, wrote a book for Banco Central in Colombia, stating the history of the 5 centuries of Cartagena. She said, at the start of 1996, Colonial, by the time, was in the midst of an electoral campaign for a Colombian presidency, stated that Cartagena appeared to be a bombed city. She had stayed in Hotel Caribe, the best in town. He went through the night without light nor water, so he had to use soda to shave. The neighborhood of Agua Grande, where the hotel was located, had unpaved streets which were full of holes. There was no sewage system, and in addition, public lighting was scarce, leading to dark nights in the area. This might sound familiar to many of you who have been to the Colonial Zone. But now, I want to show you what Cartagena is now. Now, Cartagena is a booming tourist city that hosts 4 to 6 million tourists a year. Its main industry is the tourism. It counts with many 5-star restaurants and hotels, and it has all come from the city that once appeared to be a one city. It's all come from these solutions that Cartagena have that we might derive from there. First, the public sector must move the light cables underground. So this way, we have the same view that Colonials one had. We must also have tax rates to both new businesses and the renovation of houses. And the private sector must utilize the tax rates that are provided by the public sector. And they must invest in the renovation of houses in the Colonial Zone. And then each one of you should go out and tour the area. And now I want to speak more about the book. The light cables should be moved underground, and as Ramirez said, another newspaper writer for the City Island, he said, this will guarantee the highest quality and panoramic view, which is, by moving the light cables underground, you will see what the Colonials saw at their times, and it won't take from the beauty and aesthetic of it. And tax rates, they should resemble the law. There's been a law already passed, that's 195-3 in 2013, that gives people renovating houses in the Colonial Zone the same, it follows a similar structure than the law 108-10, which is for the cinematography industry and the PR, which gives it 100%. You can cut 100% of what you invest in building a house in the Colonial Zone. And if you're buying materials to renovate your house, you also get 100%. You don't have to pay intereses, which is 18% of what you're actually paying. So laws like this, as we saw in the cinematography industry, really increase the way people invest. So we have seen an increase in cinema, in Dominican cinema in the past year. So I believe that law 195-3, which is currently under review, will prove the same thing for renovation of houses in the Colonial Zone. Okay, the private business. The private business must utilize tax rates. The new businesses, as Isabel Aguilar from the book about Cartagena one state that new businesses, both hotels and gastronomy, must be made with higher standards of profession. This will then portray the prosperity of the economy. In her quote, she stated that before in Cartagena, only boasted a couple of restaurants, but now it's a central hub for tourism. And I just want to say that we have been in the right path, as she stated. And this year, opening Casa de 16, which is a project consisting of 20 colonial houses all renovated and to their original grandeur, and it's now a hotel where we can go out and stay. Also, there have been numerous new restaurants in the Colonial, so including Halal, Tapatín, and Lulu, which have all profited from the tax rates. And also, we must invest in the renovation of houses. As Cabrera, which is an high government official in this matter, stated, in the past years we have almost seen, with almost 170 houses being restarted at an incredibly fast pace. This was written in 2016, and following the law from 2013, which gave tax rates to the people renovating the houses. This shows a very important precedent, and it shows a positive future for the tourism. There have also been a new initiative called Ayúdame a Pintar tu Casa. What they do is that volunteers from the private sector go out and help people that own colonial houses paint their house another color, which is a really nice initiative that helps restore the beauty of the colonial, even when people are not able to pay for it. And also there has been a $30 million investment by the National Bank and the Banco Interamericano de Desarrollo, which was destined for renovation of abandoned houses. And finally, each one of you should go out and tour the area. The Suelo Caribe, which is an important Dominican blog or newspaper, say that the colonial area used to receive 4,000 tourists from Punta Cana in 2012. But now with the opening of the Autoridad del Coral, which opened a couple of years ago, it has increased to 6,000 tourists in August 2014. That was a 50% increase. So now there are new ways of exploring the colonial zone, like this one, Zona Mixi, which I found truly interesting. It's a new idea that you go out, rent a bicycle for a couple of hours and go tour the area. So I really encourage each and every one of you to go out and enjoy the new sites in the colonial area. So to fully restore the colonial zone and transform it into a tourist and cultural hub, a combined effort of the private and public sector, and of course you, must be needed to truly restore it.
I have heard about the Genie family buying something like that with the colonial zone. Like, do you know how that can affect or improve the colonial zone?
Yeah, what I told you about Casas de 16 is a project by the Vicini Corporation, which consists of 20 houses, and they've all been remodeled and evolved, like brought up to date, but still keeping their architectural style. It's now a hotel that the Vicini have done, and I think that will improve the area. And right now, the average price of a hotel room in the Zona Colonial has increased 250% from 3 years ago. So I think that's a positive that the Virginia might get much land in the It's just
Okay, so question on the top 100 please.
and
Here's the easy one. Unlike a lot of other topics where people are researching faraway things on other sides of the world, that yours is sort of random.
Yeah.
Can you speak to first person, like on location research? Were you able to schedule some visits to the colonial zone yourself? Did you do some fact finding? Excellent paper on put an attention to go down there. Because you really did have the option that other people didn't have. About how that changed your thesis or your study or your research.
yeah, actually, as part of my paper, I tried to focus on real estate prices between Carolina and the product to show like a balance. But I found that to be really difficult, and so what I decided was going down to the closest zone with a couple of friends and like alone, and trying to find out what the true and like what the problems were. I was like the time I went, my chauffeur always told me that it's a real gap to find a good parking space. And when I went there and walked around, I saw a bunch of kids hanging from the roof. And also when you're going into the club, when you're like driving through, you realize that there's the gentrification I was talking about. You see the nightclub, you see a Colonial on the other side of the street, and then you see like the beautifully restored Colonial.
So those are like your major pieces. I mean, those are major components of your essay. You developed at my university. Congratulations. You have a very tough one. How do you think?
Okay.
Right. The underground stuff is the main one.
Yeah, the underground stuff is the government gave $30 million for to and provide say like in English, but they gave licitación, like they gave out the problem for builders to go out and try to get. And so there's an initial $30 million fund for doing the initial things, but the government has vowed to give out more money needed to restore public works, which is streets and the public light. And if we follow what I said, which is tax rates, I believe the public sector will also try to go out and renovate houses, because there's been a precedent. As I said in Law 110-5 for the civil industry, they gave us similar tax rates to what a bill right now that's going to pass is saying, and we've seen a huge increase in VR in Domingo films. So I believe it's not a far-fetched idea to think that tax rates for the private sector will increase the number of.
United Nations.
Yeah, it's United Nations.
International funds come in.
Definitely, but I don't think the Dominican society likes the traditional public funds. Like, I believe that the private sector would not like that, much less the public sector. So I think a combined effort between both sectors inside the Dominican industry would be the best, I guess. But
well, first of all, I really like your presentation, but like I think my question is two-part. I don't know if this is accurate, but I think that some people believe there's like a safety issue or that like to go to the colonial zone, like you need to be feel more secure and be safe. And so it's like, I guess the first part of the question is like, what do you believe in the two-part, and also like if your solutions, like do you think helping rebuild this like it's going to change the culture and like the context of the colonialism so that people feel it's safe?
okay, and that actually was part of my thesis before, but it was really hard to find factual evidence about the safety issues inside the colonialism. But in my first draft, I tried to talk about the negative stigma associated with the area. But I believe that is because you see the light poles, you see the Comado when you go inside. So I believe that most of that comes from the diversity inside the colonial zone. But I believe it will be like the negative stigma will be shed if we follow what I'm proposing. If new restaurants are built, if the new hotels are built and are more expensive, that will shed out almost like the lower socioeconomic status, and that thus it will become like the new place to be. And what I mean with that is that by having more expensive restaurants, by having more expensive places to go, this will then be like the new place for this will be the new place to visit instead of being Piantini or some other place like that.
Thank you.
And so right now, to my understanding, there is like a huge amount of traffic in the Colonial Zone in terms of rush hours and stuff. How do you think, what kinds of solutions do you think will help this problem go away in terms of, I don't know, constructing more streets? I don't know.
Okay, and as I said before, the $30 million investment from Banco Interamericano and the government, their main idea was to first repave roads, second, move the light poles underground, and third, they want to build more parking spaces. As I said before, there's only 842 parking spaces in the whole zone, and 50% of that is for residential or private use. And so the idea is to build more parking spaces, and then with initiatives, that's the one I showed you in my final slide, if people go out and park their cars in the designated parking space, and instead of moving inside the Colonial Zone with the car, they move with a bicycle or some other means of transportation. This will first alleviate the traffic and also add to the scenic beauty of the city.
So you're verging there onto questions of sustainability.
Yeah.
For example, so I was intrigued by Mr. Santo's idea about a United Nations grant or a development grant, not around true infrastructure. So one question I have is, what about water in the Colonial Zone and sewer? Like, the three things that you're talking about are mostly cosmetic, but I'm concerned that if you put a bunch more hotels there, you're gonna have a problem disposing of waste. And so what's the infrastructure for that look like?
Okay, and back in the 1940s, 1950s, the Trujillo era, there was an increase in population inside the Colonial Zone. It was renamed Ciudad Trujillo. Santo Domingo was renamed Ciudad Trujillo, and the Colonial Zone. And that's when the colonial houses were rebuilt and renovated to fit the style of the era. That's why when you go into the Colonial Zone, you see in one side the colonial house, and on the other side you see like the facade of the 1940s building. So in that time, they did all the sewage system, they did like the light poles, they did all that, and that's why I don't think it would be a huge problem, and it wouldn't be that hard to fit a couple more hotels inside. Now that the sewage system has all been done and there's no.
So you think the 1940s infrastructure is sufficient to hold a contemporary amount of waste? I'm asking this because in the United States, we're starting to run into problems with the infrastructure that was laid down during the 40s, 50s, and 60s, which were boom times, is getting a little more now, and we don't really have a backup plan, so.
And Santo Domingo sewage system is not that complicated. Most of it was done during that time. And also when you see like the boom in US history, like there was a substantial increase in people. But right now it would not be a substantial amount of increase in people if you build a couple more hotels. When you see that the average boutique hotel in the Colonial Zone has at most 20 bedrooms, and adding 20, 22, 23 more bathrooms. Those bathrooms are already built in other colonial houses. Like in most, like in a couple of buildings, they're 4 or 5 story buildings, but if they're tear down and built back up, not tear down, but like renovated to the colonial style home, which is 2 buildings, and it doesn't consist of bathrooms in each bedroom instead, but rather it's a bathroom per floor or something like that. We are not seeing that real big increase in.
So you're saying that renovations would be in keeping with the capacity of the current infrastructure rather than building new infrastructure around sewage? Okay, interesting. What about like, so to just go back to the, how do you guys say it, Vicini? Is that how you say it, Vicini? To the Vicini family, could big investors be required to donate a portion of their profits toward the maintenance and development of infrastructure that supported the number of people that they're bringing in?
Okay, yeah, maybe big investors could be asked for that, but I believe that big investors that investors like that, big investors like, would like to reinvest part of the profit. I believe that most of them, what they would like to do is that after they renovate the house and start getting a profit, that they would like to keep on expanding instead of reinvesting. I believe that's like what the Dominican society really likes to do.
I believe that's true as well. I don't disagree with you, but I'm a little concerned because if we keep biggering and biggering without supporting the infrastructure to develop it.
Okay. But what I believe is that right now, the Colonial Zone needs a kickstart. So with these laws in order, we would get like a huge. First, we would get the public eye for investment in the Colonial Zone. They would the first plan of the Banco Interamericano de Desarrollo was to renovate the northeast side only, which is a 5 by 5 block radius. And so once we get that, what you're saying is perfectly easy to do, like big investors now that they've seen the project and they've seen what's capable of it. And from then, perhaps big investors would like to contribute more money. And then with that, the renovations of the public waste and other amenities would not be that.
Okay, I understand. Open the doors for development and then begin to channel the money toward the infrastructure to support further development.
Yeah, that would be the best thing.
Nice plan, David. Nicely designed. You do that really well. Anybody else? Great job.